everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Fitness Network podcast. Today, I am joined by Ashlee Whiteman. So, Ashlee, give us a little intro on yourself, because I know you from the coaching course, but I obviously don't know what your background is in fitness and things.
Yeah, so thanks, Rosie. Thanks for having me on as well. So, yeah, we first introduced to each other on the coaching course, which we started with Team LRF and Jace, and we've been working on to build our sort of business as an online coach. But my sort of background in the fitness industry is that I first mainly got into the gym about 18 months ago, which was when I signed up with Jace for a 12-week shred, one of his 12-week shreds.
Right.
I didn't even sign up. My dad signed me up. There you go.
Did he think that you needed to go on that?
Clearly, it was giving me. We were actually going to holiday 13 weeks after it started, so I think it was a bit of a kick up the arse. So,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my first one. I mean, I used to train before that, but it was as and when I wanted, and I had no clue on nutrition.
Yeah.
So it's all very much escalated from the start of that with Jace, and things escalated quickly, but I've just fallen in love with it. So, you know, when you fall in love with it, things do escalate quickly. So
yeah,
that's a bit about me.
So do you have, you say you trained before, but did you do like any sports or anything before that?
Not really. I'm into motorsport, which is now sort of a hobby. I used to race myself in karting and driven a few cars and stuff, but it then turned into sort of work for me. And I still do some work in the motorsport industry now with a few drivers across the world. So that was sort of why I trained in the gym, to get a bit stronger for that. But that took up a lot of time at the weekends, a lot of traveling. So I never sort of had the motivation to fit the gym in whilst traveling. Like I do now, you know, if I was away at the weekend, the last thing on my mind in the evening would be go to a gym, whereas now it's the first thing on my mind. So yeah, that's where it's sort of, I went when I could, you know, Monday, Tuesday, maybe I go to a gym. But yeah, that was
okay. So like many people then, yeah. I know how that goes. Okay, and so then obviously you worked with Jace for a bit, but then what made you want to do a show?
I got into a quite happy position after the 12 weeks. I was like, wow, look, I can actually look like this. You know, until you do look like that, you don't think you can. You just think, you know, I do train and I do eat well.
Yeah.
I don't anything like that, so I'm never going to look like that. It's kind of sort of the approach I had in my head. But when you started to see the results, I was like, wow, okay, so now I'm going to see how far I can actually push this.
Yeah.
And see what sort of shape I can get in. And then it's sort of, Jace messaged me a show date, and I was like, okay, like, yeah, let's go for it. So that was that. And the original one was for April last year, which was cancelled. So yeah, that was heartbreaking, if I'm honest. That was evil.
Was that still the PCA first timers?
Yeah, it was the PCA first timers. We prepped from Boxing Day last year.
Right.
So Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And we prepped up until the 2.5 weeks out it was that it got cancelled. So
yeah, I know the feeling. Mine was pulled at 5 days out, I think.
Yeah. So
yeah. No, but you know, it's kind of, I guess every process with prep is still a good one to go through. It's just what I look at now is I think, oh, what would that look like on stage? Because I have photos and I think, oh, it looked nice, but I have no idea what judges would have said about it, which is a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because it was the first time as one for me as well, it was almost a blessing because I had a pre-run.
Yeah.
It was a pre-run for me, and I learned so much from that prep that didn't happen to take to when I actually done a first time a show, and it literally feels like a blessing.
I bet. And did you look very different between the two preps as well?
Massively. I actually sent Jace when we started prepping for the second show, or first show, but second time round. Week on week, I'd be sending him pictures like, this was 9 weeks out last time, and this is 9 weeks out now. I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
because you had, so when did you actually do your first show? Actually get on stage?
I actually got on stage in October then. So this October, so about 10 weeks ago, that was the first time on stage.
Okay, so when your show was pulled in April, what did you do then? Did you go into like a bit of an off season kind of?
It wasn't really an off season, no. So we messaged, me and Jay sort of had a conversation, and we sort of stayed relatively lean. I dropped down to 65 kilo, in my April show, and then we pushed back up to 72, 73, and I literally stayed around that throughout the whole of the lockdown.
Right.
We originally said we'll do the July one, so we don't want to get too out of shape. And then obviously that cancelled.
Yeah.
And we just sort of said, well, when's the next one? Oh, that'll be October. So we sort of, from April till then, didn't really get massively out of shape. It just stayed at a sort of maintainable weight, but it wasn't an off season.
Yeah. Okay. But did you add a little bit of muscle in that time still? Or?
Yeah, because I actually stepped on stage at 70 kilos. So I got down to 65 for April, 2.5 weeks out. And then I actually stepped on stage in October at 70. So
wow.
yeah,
That's
the pictures were so different.
Yeah. It's mad though, isn't it? I find like, because I've competed right from, I mean, bear in mind I am tiny, but I've competed from something like 46 kg to like 44 on stage.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that, like, I do look different, but I wouldn't say, whoa, I look massive compared to another one, you know.
Yeah.
Which is mad.
So I was shocked at that. But yeah, I mean, it made it a lot easier. So obviously I started prepping Boxing Day for the April show. So, you know, that's sort of, it was going to be like a 14, 16 week prep, but I only prepped 8 weeks for my show in October.
Okay. And how did you find the process of prep?
First time round, it was crazy. Like, it was a big shock to the system, and I don't think you realise how differently your body reacts, and how you react until afterwards, when you get back to almost like a normal state.
What do you mean by like how quickly you come in, or?
Yeah, and everything. You know, how quickly your body can change on small changes as well. And I was thinking about this the other day. You know, how my sort of nutrition side of things, my source of food hasn't really changed. Now, I've got a couple of extra squares bars from what I was prepping on for the show, but you know, chicken, rice, oats, everything like that is still the same in this off season, just different quantities. But my body is so different. But yeah, the process of prep, things do change with your body. Like, I definitely found I struggled to sleep. That was one thing I noticed for prep. But then again, I also had a lot more energy. Like, I
do
struggled to sleep, but I was always feeling awake and energized and ready to do stuff. And yeah, I was a bit more short-tempered, but you know, I was so focused, and everything was easy to do, apart from the last couple of weeks out, where I did then feel like physically quite drained. Mentally, I was quite active again still, but physically just drained.
Yeah, I train much better when I'm leaner as well. I don't know what it is, but I wonder if it's just that your body is so much more efficient when you're leaner, that maybe that
for sure.
But I don't know. Yeah, okay, I get you. Did you have a lot of cardio in your prep?
Yeah, I think I did. So I know some people didn't have as much. Some people do hardly any. You know, I was up to like an hour a day.
Okay.
So 7 days a week. Yeah, I was always 7 days a week. I never had a day off cardio. So I was always on 7 days. It started off around 25 minutes, and I think by the end we were on an hour.
Yeah, it's like bikini girl territory, that is.
Actually, that's a lie. I was up to 70 minutes. The last two weeks out, I went up to 70. Yeah.
Okay.
But I did split that then. I did split that. I was like, I am not doing 70 in one go.
Yeah. Well, it's all the same, isn't it? If you get it done, you get it done in the day, then it's fine, really. How did you find peak week? Like, was anything changed in your peak week?
So I did. That's one thing I didn't really know what to expect from. You hear a lot of things about peak week. I didn't know what to sort of listen to or what was actually going to happen. So when peak week hits, you know, say it's a Monday, it hits, you're like, oh, peak week's here. And then for the first couple of days, not a lot of things changed. I mean, I checked in every day for peak week rather than checking in twice a week. So that was a difference there. But then the last 3 days run into the show, I could not believe the changes.
Really?
Yeah. So for my body shape 3 days out, so the morning of the show, was such a big difference. It was like 3 weeks in one.
Yeah.
Crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Was that now, did you use like water tablets or diuretics or anything?
I did. Yeah. So I ran them. I did take one for my photo shoot previously, so I knew what they were about. But we took a different approach for the show. But yeah, it completely transformed my body completely.
Yeah, they it's crazy until you like. I don't think you realize how different. Like when you're lean and then you do something like that, it's just like super.
All the last bit, I was like, wow. So
Yeah.
and the people that I was with, you know, around that time of the show were shocked as well. They couldn't believe it. So it wasn't just me thinking, oh wow.
That's cool. And then the carbs go in as well. Cool. Okay. And then how did you find the actual show day?
It's amazing. It was amazing. It was literally. So the show was in Birmingham, so it was about 2 hours away from me. The only thing that was stressful, I've been running that bakery.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I was the only one making them this year. So a lot of people had ordered them for the show as well that I was at. Obviously,
Oh, no.
So 2 days out, I was still baking. In fact, the day before, I was still baking, packing them all up to drive up to the show. That was the only stressful part of the weekend, was focusing on my show and getting bakes out to people. So
did you ever feel tempted by those bakes?
no, that's the thing. Maybe a few weeks out, you know, that's probably the hardest bit for me, was a few weeks out.
Yeah.
When I got to sort of 3 weeks out, there was nothing that was going to change my mind about temptation of trying to eat something. You know, I was making them the day before in the kitchen, not even thinking about, I want to touch any of this, because go down on your mind. So
I think, yeah, I totally agree with that, because I've made like people birthday cakes or whatever right near a show. And I think you're right, like in kind of maybe the middle of prep, or maybe when you're about a month out, I think that's probably when it gets to one of the harder points, because you can almost see the end, but you're not close enough. And you're like, oh, I want some food, but I'm not allowed it yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's hard that bit. Okay, and then so what was your judges' feedback from the show, did you ask?
Yeah, so I emailed afterwards and asked for feedback, and it was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. I know I haven't been training that long, so there is so much progress that I want to make. My feedback was I need to grow my chest, my shoulders, and my arms, which my arms have always been my personal insecurity. People say, oh, your arms look good, what you on about? But for me, that's the area that I feel is my weakness.
That's a male thing though, right? Like I would say.
And then my chest, I looked at the photos and was like, yeah, that's where I need to progress. So, you know, I was really happy with the feedback I got. You know, posing was really good, which again, for me, was a blessing for the first time round. I think if I'd have stepped on a stage with the posing that I had for the first time round, it wouldn't have been very good. I spent a lot of lockdown practicing posing. And it, you know, people say it was sounding like it was some of the best in that category. So I was really happy with that. And then the guy, you know, it was super competitive. I was shocked at the level of competition that was there, considering the year we've had. You know, being a first time show, I was turned up. I was like, wow. So, but it was also quite motivating. It didn't demotivate me, that seeing other people thinking, oh shit, you know, this isn't a walk in the park. You know, it was motivating to see how good the level of competition was. So
did you have that bit, because I feel like everyone does, and I definitely did, on your first show? There's this bit of you that goes, I can win this. I'll win my show.
I wasn't to that point, and I don't know if you've seen that little reel or whatever it is going about Chris Bumstead when he looks at Big Ramy.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? That was what I'd done with the guy who won my class.
Oh no.
He'd been training for 21 years, he told me afterwards. Looked insane. And there was a moment where I looked up and he took his top off backstage. And he goes, are you men's physique short? And I went, yeah. He went, oh, same. And that was a sort of smile. I was like, okay, cool. But inside I was like, oh my God, this isn't good. But you don't say anything to him up to the after show, you know, like, oh yeah, okay. So you crack on. But yeah, my face was exactly like Chris. So
no, how old did you say he was?
So he'd been training for 21 years. I think he was
right. I thought you said he was 21, right? Okay, well, that's fair enough.
For 21 years, and then he said he decided to do a show. He looks insane, like really difficult. So
Oh yeah, but then you know what? Like if if somebody like that beats you, then at least like that's okay because they were
Yeah,
like gonna get
sure. I
it, and
wasn't disappointed with my result. I didn't
yeah.
win, and your goal is to go there and win, but I wasn't disappointed with my placing. So
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I remember thinking like in my first show, so I qualified for British finals, but I didn't win. But then when I saw the girls I was against, because I did PCA as well for my first show, but it was like the year before they started first timers, so there wasn't like a first timers thing. But I didn't really have any idea what they were expecting from us or what condition was or anything like that.
yeah,
So I was just like, oh, it'll be fine, they'll like me, I look good, and hopefully they'll let me win. But yeah, when I saw the girls I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a little out of my depth right now. But then I thought, but I know at some point that I can win. Like it isn't so unattainable that I
no,
can't,
for
but
sure.
I can see why they beat me. So
Yeah, but not winning didn't demotivate you. It sort of worked the
no,
opposite way. It motivated you to go back and become even better. So
yeah. Well, I won my second show, so it must have motivated me.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good mentality to have if you can. You know,
Yeah.
that's it. And if I was to sort of give advice for a first timer show, it would be to not wait until you think you can win a show or anything like that. You know, if you feel like it, even if you feel like you'll be out of your depth, still go for it because it's a first time show. It gives you an understanding of where you're at and
Yeah.
whether you like competing as well. You know,
Absolutely, because I think there's a lot of people who say will come to me as a coach and they've never seen a show and they say they want to compete, and I'm like, but do you know what it's going to be like? Because I remember watching it maybe 2 years before I competed, and I thought that I'll never be able to get up there and do that. And I'd been a dancer before, so like stage wasn't the issue. I just thought I'm
yeah,
not sure I could do it in a bikini or that I'll ever be that shape. But I do think that you need some idea of what you're going into. Like obviously, like you're saying, prep is nothing like you expect, or all these things are thrown at you. But I kind of think that you should at least see a show to at least know if that's the look that you want, because every federation is a different look as well.
yeah, for sure. And you
Um,
understand which federation you want to do to look like. You know,
yeah, because you're changing your body and you have to be comfortable. Obviously, yes, the way that we look on show day is not how we look every day or all year round, but you are morphing your body into a certain shape and style for that federation, so you do have to like it, otherwise you're just miserable.
that's it for sure. You have to. You got. You know, your mentality is on the brink of during prep. You know, some days you wake up feeling amazing, some days you feel, and you have to be able to be strong enough to push through them bad days through prep.
Yeah,
Because you can't make a mistake, as in you can't just binge for a day or not train, or you still have to get it done. You have to be regimented and get everything done every day.
yeah,
So if you're not going to like the end look or the way your body is going, then it's not going to work from day one. So, like you say, you have to
no,
understand.
it's not. And there is loads of challenges that you can do in fitness as well. It's not like doing a show is the only thing that you can
Oh,
do.
for sure, that's it.
So
But that's why I said my first prep was a blessing
yeah,
because it was like a pre-trial run with nothing at the end to sort of fail for or anything like that. So
yeah,
again, as if a bit of recommendation would be what I've said to clients to me that have said they'd like to do a show is do a pre-run first, do an 8-week cut or something where there is no off-plan meals, the calories are low, to see if you can actually do it and you like that process, because there's a cost of competing as well. It's not stupidly expensive, but it's not cheap at the same time. So
well,
you know,
it's not
to
for
invest
guys.
money, to invest money, you got to enjoy it as well because you don't want that worry either. So
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. So, where you said that you had difficult days, like obviously we all get them, whether we're on
yeah,
prep or not. But obviously, I think prep just amplifies it. What
sure.
what did you do that made you like helped you get through those times?
For me, training just literally is my escape. So training was that helped me to reset and feel better. I always felt better after training.
Mm.
And your favourite meal of the day as well. You get your Cocoa Pop, so isn't it? So, but yeah, again, it's reaching out to people who are also competing was for me was something I used to do on the bad days, because people are going through the same process as you. You know, you're not alone, because there are people that are doing the same show, the same amount of time out, and they might be having a good day. But even if they are, and you say you're not having a good day, they could always relate to a day where they weren't feeling good. Maybe give you a tip of something to try. For me, again, like the sleep thing, I've never been good at sleep anyway. So I wish I could have slept more to sort of recover the body a bit better. But it's never something I went to do. So maybe I'd like to do that for the next prep. But
then maybe you just don't need it, because some people need different amounts, don't they? If your body doesn't do that naturally, I don't know, maybe.
I said to myself, I always feel the same whether I have 5 or 8 hours sleep. Like, you know, if I have 5 sleep, I'm tired. If I have 8 hours sleep, I'm tired. So,
oh God, you're going to become like Jace soon. Team No Sleep. Okay, and so what are your? Well, do you have any plans to compete again?
Yeah, so you know, I got third at the first show, so I got, like as you said, a British finals ticket for next year.
Okay, yeah.
They've now been released, so October 16th, 17th. So I will be doing that show. On my check-ins, I say to Jace, you know, next show, 11 months out, etc. And a couple of weeks ago, I got the reply saying we'll be doing a show before that. So, yeah, we'll be doing a show before that. I don't know when yet. But again, it's sort of, as I haven't been training that long, I've done like that 12 weeks with Jace. That ended in August. So I had an off season for a few months to December. We prep for a show, but I haven't really done a full off season yet. So it was really exciting to sort of end that show and then go into what I thought would be quite a long off season, and see if I can pack on some size. So I'm looking forward to bringing my next package to the stage end of the year, and seeing how much size I can add. But yeah, that's the process at the minute. So I loved the show day. You know, I didn't stop smiling all day. I felt quite relaxed in the morning. You know, it's weird. You think you're going to be absolutely starving. You can't wait to get on stage to eat some food. Woke up in the morning. Yeah, I was slightly hungry. I had a meal, but I was just so relaxed and ready for the day, really. And then
I think food's irrelevant by that point as well.
It really is. Like the end goal is so close. It was just like, you know, I woke up, have a meal, done what I need to do. And then, yeah, just the whole run up. You know, I don't think I was on stage till about 1 o'clock, and I was up at 4. I think I woke up at 4.
Yeah.
Messaging coach from like 3:30, because I was like, I'll leave it for a bit, he'll probably be asleep. And I was like, nah, I'll be awake. So I thought
I bet he was awake, is it?
You know, you look the best you've ever looked. So, you know, no, you competed many of times. You might have thought maybe, you know, you're trying to judge off the last look. But for me, you know, first time on stage, it's the best I've ever looked.
Yeah.
You're just excited. Then, you know, on stage, couldn't stop smiling. And the whole process of the day, you know, you get to see your family and friends and go out some food afterwards. And then, yeah, I can't wait to do it again, really.
I think that in some ways, like, I miss your first show is the best one, because you are the best you've ever looked. Like, there is no, you can't say, oh, I looked better last time, or da-da-da. Like, and that's the nicest thing, is that you just feel amazing because of that as well.
So that was a question I had for you. You know, you've been hugely successful. Like you said, you won your second show. You won a show this year as well.
Yeah.
So I was talking to say, you know, what motivates you to then win a show and then want to come back, and you know, what's the motivation? What brings you back?
There's loads of things for me. So this year was my 3rd year competing. So I actually, like you, I didn't train for too long before I competed, but I had a body of muscle from previous things that I'd done, like horse riding for years and things like that. So and obviously bikini, like, we don't need that much, but I would say that I'm more on the athletic side of bikini girls. So my first year was a little bit like, I got on stage and I was like, oh, I quite like this, I think I'll do it again. So then I did 5 shows my first year, and then last year I started and I did like PCA again and stuff, and then they kept moving me into athletic bikini, and I was like, I like the look, but I don't like the look on me. Like, I just would feel uncomfortable, I think, being any bigger. And then I moved into obviously like the NPC 2 British stuff, and I thought, I want my card. I really want my IFBB card. And so like I'd already got cards with NFM and UKUP, but I just was like, this is what I want, and I love that look. And I didn't realize before that those type of like Olympia bikini girls were what I'd looked at before, but I didn't know that. So I guess it's just like every show I thought, okay, I just want to get a little bit better, I just want to get a little bit better. But then it ended up with being 10 shows last year.
Love that. Wow.
Which was amazing. Like for me, I didn't find it hard. I actually find it harder like the in-between bits of like not having shows. But like now, this year, like, so obviously I was meant to compete in March, and then it ended up being September, which then after that it was the first time where I thought, okay, I need an off season, because now like I've competed so much that I just thought like mentally I've not lost it, but I think I need a little reset.
Sure.
And I kept thinking, I kept going to the gym thinking, I really want to lift heavier, like I really want to, like I need a bit more energy, I really want to go for it and stuff, and I want a little bit more size. Like I felt like I'd maybe just shrunk a little bit, and I think I just was like, I just think my body needs a rest. Like I started getting bloating quite a lot, and I just think it's like the stress of, you know, doing kind of things for too long. But I think like ultimately with motivation, it's always that I think, yes, you do go in to win, but you just want to look at stuff, think, you know, and think that's the best I've ever looked. Like I worked my arse off to look like that, and I felt amazing, and I presented myself the best I could. Like there's things this year where I think they were better than last year, and then there's things where I think, okay, last year had this that was better or whatever, so I want to bring them all together next year.
And your motivation is that card, like you say, so that you know you haven't attained something yet that you want, so you know you're going to keep going back till you sort of get what you want, really.
Yeah, and it is like, you know, and you always ask, you know, your coach or the judges for feedback and stuff. I mean, ultimately, like you said, most of it you do know yourself. You knew what you needed to work on, really. But it's also, you know, they do say like, it's like last year I did Iceland, and the woman just said to me, I'd never had a comment on my physique all year. It was something stupid like my tan wasn't dark enough or something before that. Oh, it's ridiculous. And she said, a little more shoulders, and I went, okay, well, I'm doing Germany next week, and you were judging at it, so do you think I can do that in a week? And I think we kind of carved up a little bit heavier, and then I won my show in Germany, and I said to her then, I went, okay, so I won my class, I'm in the overall, why didn't I get my card? And she went, well, I can't comment because you won your class, so that means you're perfect. And then she was like, you just got beaten by somebody that was better. And I was like, I know that, but how do I get better? But you know, like I think it's just like I now review a lot of like you were saying how you posed it and you practice and all that, but now I like look at all my videos and I look at all my photos and I think, okay, you know, like you know in your head really what judges want after a while, once you've seen the look enough, so you know what you need to bring on your physique, and I think how you need to be, and you know, I know that you have a coach for all those things, and like obviously they kind of help with your physique, but I do think that you yourself as a competitor need to also really analyze it.
Sure, that's one thing I would suggest to any first timer is during your prep process is document it, because it's like your body changes so much. You don't have every day, just get a photo or a video. You don't get the videos on the days you feel good. Like get the videos on the days you don't feel good.
Which is always your check-in day.
So because like at least you understand then what happens to your body for next time. Because you know, like you see, you always want to get a video when you wake up. You've got, I look really good today. The days that you don't understand why or what's happened or what you're doing, did you overload on carbs or whatever it may be, like to understand for the day that it actually matters.
So will you compete with PCA again next year, or will you do the federation as well?
I think it'll only be PCA for the British. Obviously that'll be PCA, and the show before I think I'll probably just stick maybe. I'd love to do a show abroad, but I don't think it'll be this year. I think there's loads and loads of work to do before I'll probably do that. But I'm not ruling out 2022 for a show abroad. I think that'd be pretty cool.
They're really good. Like, I would say from traveling, I learned more in some ways, and also it sounds really twisted, but the shows that go wrong is the ones that you learn from more as well.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So yeah, traveling, you just gotta vacuum pack your food. That's it.
I do a lot of traveling with the racing anyway.
Yeah.
And I know it's not for. I did for the April prep. I did a lot of traveling. I was 4 weeks out. I think I was in Italy, and I used to take all my food. So used to be like a lorry that used to go a few days before to the track. So I used to put my cool box on that in the lorry, and then my suitcase would be half clothes, half food. I used to literally take all my food and then get it in the fridge as soon as possible and stuff. So yeah, I love doing that.
But that's a really good that's a really good thing, because I think people think that they don't live a straightforward life or something like that, like if they don't have a 9-to-5 job or something, that they can't do these things, but there's always a way around it.
There's always a way around it. Some ways around it are a lot more difficult than others.
Yeah.
But you prep for a show, and prep is probably the most important word, I would say. It makes life a million times easier, being more organized and prepared for what's going to happen. Like, if you can think in advance, it just makes everything fall into place so much easier. Like, even when you go abroad, I'm like, just messaging the hotel. It seems over the top, but like messaging the hotel, have you got a microwave or anything like that? Just so you know, when you get there, you're not spending 2 days trying to find a microwave. You know where one is, or they haven't got one, so you need to prep something else. And there's always ways around it. It just depends how much you want to do it, really.
Yeah, but I think you can also, reach out to your coach and say, look, I travel a lot. Is there any way that I can have a plan that, doesn't require a fridge or cooking, or I don't know, something like that?
And then again, next sort of recommendation for any first timer would to not be do it yourself. Just the coach is a small fraction of the overall price. That for me, it wouldn't make sense not to do it, because there's so many unknown factors around a show, from everything. Like you say, even different federations want different looks. So, if you're going to enter a show and you want to do well, you need to understand what them looks do. And, 12 months ago, I wouldn't be able to tell you what federation wanted what look.
Yeah.
Because I was in that position of being a first timer and not really, me and Jace didn't speak about that sort of thing that far out, so to run the whole process on your own, I think would be, wow, if you can do it, then fantastic. But if it's, thinking about the cost of a coach is the reason that it's not wanting you to do it, is a small fraction of that actual overall price, and it's probably, not the way to approach it, for sure.
Not, I always think with money, well, I'm not saying this I don't mean this like for people that are made of money or whatever, but you make your money and you spend it on what you want to spend it on. So if fitness and winning really means that much to you, then it's no cost, is it, to have a coach?
Or, no, that's it.
To pay for those things. Okay, so I've got a few little last questions for you. Who is your favorite bodybuilder of all time?
I'm going to say this because it's like massive inspiration. Like Andre Dio at the moment is just like, the fact that he's younger than me as well, and then he's like just come 5th in Olympia. I'm just like, wow, it's crazy. Like just the whole thing. I'm following him for a few years. I say I've only followed him for a few years because I haven't actually been into the gym like that for very long. So it's not like I've been doing it for 10 years and following 10 years. I haven't been following him for that long, but like he's a massive inspiration for me as well, purely because he's my class as well, men's physique. So I've got huge respect now for the open category, the size of the guys, because you don't understand, a lot of people don't understand the dedication, everything that goes into actually getting to that size. Like, it's crazy. Them guys for me are inspirational for the hard work they put in, the dedication, the organisation, everything about them to get to that size.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. It's amazing. And what I love about it is if you ever say to somebody about, I don't know, what a tricep looks like, I'm like, just go look at a big bodybuilder.
That's
You
it.
can see it perfectly on them.
Crazy, just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's fascinating. That that's really cool that you say about Andre, because what I quite like is that he says that he was a fat kid and stuff, and I quite
That's it.
like that
It's
he's
brilliant, isn't
transformed himself from that.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's
It is
cool.
brilliant, but you would
Um,
never say that. Yeah.
no, I know. Okay. And what's your favorite like cheap food off plan?
Oh, never
Or
ending. But I don't know how you find prep. Um, you get told, oh, okay, today you've got an off-plan meal, and it completely threw me every time because then you've got to decide that night what you want to eat, and it's like you at the time you think it's going to be your last supper ever that you can eat something. You're like, oh, I've got to get everything I want in. So um, I used to for the first time round, I used to love going out for like a burger and chips, but not like a Five Guys. I used to go to like a restaurant and then have like a
yeah.
different dessert and stuff. But now it's either that or a pizza, to be honest. It ends up being like a Domino's waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning because it's put you in a food coma.
I know.
So,
Yeah, can't go. Does Jace give you guidelines on like what you should have
yeah,
about?
he never has with me.
Oh.
He's never
So you're just like,
he's never gone, what the hell did you eat? Because you look a bit
I
different.
can
But
see
no, he's
those
never,
6 pizzas on you now.
I've never, my cheat meals, he'd say, he would state maybe one day, have 3 course, or would say have a main and dessert. That's what I would stick to, but never, oh, is this okay? I never really done that with him. I just ate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've had different things from different people. So yeah, I know what
Yeah,
you mean. But I know what you mean how it does throw you, because you're so like, okay, I have this much chicken and this much, and it must be white potato, not sweet potato or whatever. And then when they say that, you're like, uh, and what? I have no idea how to think anymore about food.
you wait all week. You're weighing your food to the gram, and then you've all of a sudden can go and eat something where you don't have a clue how many calories are in it, and you think, "Wow, that's so different." But all part of the process. So like, it never harmed
Yeah,
me.
no, it's true. But so like this prep. So uh I'd have like, it wouldn't be an off plan like that. It would be have it was salmon or steak, and it was like then he'd say how much it would be and all those things, which
Okay.
actually it actually worked quite well for me. But I think because you think, okay, I've still done what he's like, specifically what he's asked.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
won't matter if my weight goes up or anything like that. But yeah, like but then I was shrinking into the show, and I wish I'd actually kind of just shoved a burger in my mouth or something. I
Yeah.
wonder if it would have filled me out.
That's it. I was amazed the night after my show. We went out for food straight after we got off stage. Then we went back out for an Indian. Like, I consumed so many calories that day. But then in the evening, my physique looked amazing. I was like, wow. We got after all that food, and it's like you say, sometimes you can just
Yeah,
like that.
it does. Your veins go mad, don't
My,
they?
my show, but like we didn't need to. So
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. Well, thank you very, very much for
thank you.
answering all my questions. um, and
But if anyone's got any other questions that they might want to ask, then either contact you and forward it to me, or just contact me, and I don't mind answering any
yeah,
questions.
I think it's really nice to, it's not like I've forgotten what my first show is like, but I think it is really nice to hear, because there obviously is a lot of people who are interested, and I think this year was not the easiest year to do a first show. So to tell people exactly how you found it, I think is very interesting. And like you said, you reached out to people, like just letting them know that like they're not alone in it, and that we've
Oh,
all had these, feelings where maybe we've had those dreams in the middle of the night where we accidentally ate cheesecake and then we're like, oh no.
yeah.
All
But
those things that we've been through.
if you if you're doing a first time show and you are worried about something, I would literally just say ask the question to anyone who you have seen competed before, because no one is going to turn around and take the mick. Because we've all been in that position, and we all just want to help and bring the best out of that person. Like, so no matter what the question is, I would
Yeah,
say ask someone, because
yeah,
if it helps you make you feel better, then that's the ultimate goal. And like I say, the industry is so nice. Everyone in the industry is literally there to help others. So because we know what this experience is like and how daunting it can be, that no one's going to hold anything back. So just, yeah, I would say approach people.
Yeah, definitely. I think I very, very much agree with that people are very approachable.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee once somebody's been in the fitness industry for a couple of years, they will have gone through everything that you are going through. Yeah, no, that's good. Well, thank you very much, Ashlee, for your time. I will put a link below to people who can find you. Do you still have spaces for coaching and things?
I do, yeah. So I've got a transformation starting on the 4th, which is just a 10-week transformation, but I'm also still growing my business. So I've still got room for online coaching. For lifestyle people, check out my transformations. They are mainly aimed at people who are getting into the industry, have a passion for it, but are stuck on how to take it to the next level, or, train but aren't seeing any changes. Then, I'm here to educate you on, how to get to that next level of look. So
yeah, definitely. No, that's nice. Okay, I'll do that. And you have to get me on your podcast sometime.
Sure.
All right, I'll catch up with you soon.
You'll have to remember back to your first show for that one. It's a
I do know what.
Your photos.
I know I do remember that one really well, actually. Like, I suppose you always will, your first one, but
sure, for sure.
Yeah, very much. Anyway, all right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Catch you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.